funny. That's me.
That's you.
Yeah, so this is Bobby OJ. So was this the first one?
Yeah, this is the first one with Bobby OJ cooking contest. We got this big trophy over there.
Okay. And wow, look at all these teams.
Yeah, that's on our competition.
Morgan, Marcus.
Morgan, Marcus. That's our competition right there. That one.
Oh yeah, they ain't stand no chance.
Yeah, Earl, he's the one that started the whole thing. That's my oldest brother. He the one that came up with the recipe.
Yep.
He was the head barbecuer back in the day.
Yeah, man.
He was the head barbecuer.
And he came up with the sauce recipe.
He came up with the sauce recipe. He came up with everything, and then when he passed it on to me.
Yeah.
But he was the originator. Give you a little history. When we used to have get-togethers, we always getting together, big family, and we get together at my mom's house for Mother's Day, 4th of July, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Well, he started bringing wine.
Yeah.
He would make wine and he bring it, and we call it pluck. So we have a little pluck after we eat. You know? But then that expanded on to when he started cooking, and he started coming up with recipes. Good. And then he invited me up to spending the weekend with him on the weekend, and that's when he was showing me the ropes on how to cook.
Oh man, that's awesome.
He's the one that started it.
That's awesome. But wow, man, the grill, it looked brand new back then.
Yeah, we had just built it,
So this is 1987. That's 87. You, Uncle Henry Earl, Uncle Jimmy. Yeah. Y'all just up and decided we gonna barbecue one day?
Well, when he started coming up with the recipes, we own that metal recycling business. So we started gathering stuff to make a grill. So, because he was barbecuing anyway on little small barrels and things. So we said we gonna make him a grill. Yeah. So we had a welder to put it all together. And that's how Big Smoky was born. Oh yeah. And then we made the second grill. We called it Big Smoky 2, and on the bottom it says the saga continues. That's right. You see that on the picture on me.
Absolutely.
You can see that on the picture.
Absolutely. These are great pictures. The saga continues.
The saga continues.
And Big Smoky, I think that's what attracted me to the barbecue. Seeing y'all up there with that big old umbrella on top of that thing.
And see, wherever we pull up, we draw a crowd. Yeah. Cool. When we put that umbrella up and see that smoke, let it come.
Yep. That's right. Yeah. No thermometers on it, no nothing.
No nothing.
And that's funny, because I remember when you taught me how to cook, you said just put your hand on there, and if you can't hold your hand over it for 5 seconds, it's too hot.
See, and the thing about Big Smoker, it was thick.
Yeah.
So when you put the lid down, wouldn't no fire come up in there. Yeah. It would just stay hot, and that thickness get hot and heat their ribs and make them tender. Yeah. Yeah, man. So we didn't have to worry about throwing no water down there and putting the fire out. We just set the lids down.
Yeah, and that is to this day one of the thickest grills I've ever been around. Because those old tanks that's from back then, and who knows when that tank was made. Right. With Big Smoky. That's probably, 1930s, 1920s?
Yeah, it was a big old water tank. It was a water tank. Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah. But it was thick, and that a thin grill will let the heat out, but a thick grill will hold that heat in, tenderize that meat.
Yeah, and they don't even make iron like that no more.
Yeah, I'm saying, man.
They don't even make iron like that no more, huh? Yeah. Well, I see your competitors here. Yeah. And it's the whole family coming out supporting. Yeah. Everybody got their names on the back. I see Brenda. That is so cool. And so once Uncle Henry Earl started you out barbecuing with Uncle Jimmy, did you all of a sudden just say, you know what, this is what I love to do, and this is why I'm going to keep on doing it even after they passed away?
Yeah, after we did the grill, and he started doing it, and I saw what a big hit it was and how it would make the family happy. We would just get together all the time, even after church or every holiday, every birthday. This big family, we was getting together all the time. Yeah. Yeah. So, and when in the summertime we put that grill in the mix, it was all good. Man.
Everybody had fun.
And so, that's what brought the interest to me. I saw what kind of goodness it brought to the family. Yes. And and I'm a family guy, so it just really hit me. So I said, let me try to keep this going, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's when I learned from him all, you know, basically he taught me how to, the recipe, the barbecue, and how to prepare the meat. Mm-hmm. So you know how he prepared the meat?
You told me.
He put together this rub he would put on the meat the night before. Mm-hmm. And then what he would do is he'd take his knife and stick forks all over the ribs, front and back. And then he made the basting sauce. Mm-hmm. And so the basting sauce would be for when he's cooking, he put the basting sauce on the ribs and it would sink through the holes that he stabbed. Mm-hmm. And then when it go down into the grill and the steam come up, it helped tenderize the meat. Yeah. And from that basting sauce, he would add the hot sauce and ketchup and make the red sauce. Mm-hmm. Yep. So when the meat got 2/3 of the way done, that's when we started putting the red sauce on it. Mm-hmm. Yep. And see, that's how we did it. And his method of cooking, well, he would cook 2/3 on the bottom side, and 1/3 with the ribs turned over on the front side. Yeah. So that was his cooking method. Yeah. So that's what I took from that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. That's how that went.
And it's funny because just hearing you talk about it all these years later, he taught you the same way. You taught me the same way, and I still do it. I still do it the exact same way. Yeah. So that's actually pretty cool that after all these years, it's still being done the same way.
Done the same way.
The same way.
Well, great.
Yep. So this is just awesome. So what was your favorite thing to cook with him, with your brothers?
Ribs was always a specialty.
Yes.
Ribs was always a specialty. Then chicken. Mm-hmm. And then we put the rest to the side. You know, the hot dogs and the smoked sausage and the hamburger meat. Mm-hmm. You know.
And the bologna.
The bologna
was my favorite growing up.
The reason we added another grill because we made that one because the tank was not quite as thick, so we could cook the bologna, the smoked sausage, the hamburgers, you know, on that one, you know, because they didn't require a lot of heat to make the meat, to tenderize the meat. Yeah. We saved the big grill for the chicken and the ribs and the shoulder.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that shoulder was good.
Yeah,
too.
We cut down the shoulder and pour that base sauce all down them holes.
Oh yeah. That was good stuff. And then you had undeviled slaw on top of that.
And then undeviled slaw.
Oh man, that was some good slaw. After all these years, I still
you still remember that?
Man, I can't. I've been trying to remake it. I can't figure out the recipe.
She took that with her. I didn't get, because you know I was just eater. So I was dealing with the barbecue. I didn't deal with slaw, so that recipe left with her. So I'm so sad about that.
But you know what? We gonna get that slaw one day. One day we gonna get that slaw again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir. Well, that's awesome. So, if there's one thing that you can barbecue that you never barbecued on Big Smoky, what would it be?
Well, I tell you, we had I was invited to cook for Sidney Chisholm. Mm-hmm. And so I bought Big Smoke over there, and he came out with alligator.
Oh yeah.
So we cooked alligator meat on it, and that's the first and the only time I ate alligator meat. But it was pretty good once I put the sauce on it.
Oh yeah.
It was different.
Oh yeah, it's different.
But and on the Bobby OJ cooking contest, a guy brought us some rabbit to put on there. Mm-hmm. So we tried a little of that. You know, we tried a few exotic things. Yeah. You know, but you know, for me, I'm a purist. I like chicken and ribs.
So for real, yeah.
I'm a purist.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with them though.
Yeah, see, I don't like nothing no wilder than me.
Well, hey, I definitely understand that. Man, so after this Bobby OJ contest, what was the next one after y'all won that one? What was next after that one?
Well, we built the grills for family get-togethers. Yeah. So basically, it was all family get-togethers. But when I took an office at on Airways, you remember when I had the office on Airways for my promotional business? Well, we would have customer appreciation days over there. Why
I remember. I used to help out.
We put the two grill behind the building, and we cook and invite our customers and our family, and we enjoyed that. And then the people that owned the building got hooked on the ribs, and so they invited us to cook in their contest.
Oh man,
the Masons.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, sure did.
And that's when you and I showed you these pictures on my phone.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I can show you those pictures where we all sat out there.
And we had the black T-shirts.
And we had the black T-shirts and won first place in chicken.
Yeah, sure did.
You know, and so that was the next contest. We into that for several years.
You know, Unc, I've started catering recently, and out of everything that I make, my chicken is what everybody loves the most, and I'm still using the exact same way you taught me.
Yeah.
You know, and those people, the chicken, like the way you taught me, and using the basting sauce. It creates a juice that
keeps it moist.
It keeps it moist. Yep.
While it's cooking.
Yep, it sure does.
Yeah.
It sure does. Well, that's awesome. Well, I can think back to our family get-togethers and all of those moments, and you know, the main thing that I always think about. I can think of Marlon driving around with his little lowrider.
Yeah.
And I can just see it. I can just see everybody running around, and I can see you on top of that grill, you know, and that's what I think of when I think of childhood, especially in the summertime.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, we get together all the time. It didn't take nothing for us to get together. All our birthdays.
Yeah.
All the holidays.
Yeah.
All after church.
Yeah.
We would get together all the time.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, absolutely.
So it was just a big celebration.
Yeah.
It was just a big celebration all through the year. So.
That's good. Well, you know, you've definitely inspired me on this barbecue thing because, like you, I never really pursued barbecue per se, but cooking for people has people like, man, you need to do this, you need to do that, man, open a restaurant, do all this stuff. But barbecue for me has always been about the love. You know, if I want to relax, like I'll go fishing, sometimes I'll barbecue. And I think that comes from the love that was shown to me through barbecue with the family and everything, because that barbecue was never anything I wanted to monetize, because I feel like if I did that, it would kind of take my love away.
Absolutely.
It would take my love away for it. But it hasn't happened, because every time I even fire up any kind of grill, I don't care if it's propane, I still feel inside the way I felt back then when I barbecue. So that's cool about it.
Well, it's good because when you look at it from that perspective, people see that. Yeah. And they identify with that. And then that's where your blessings come from, because they know you'll do it for free. Well, they'll buy into that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And see, you come from a family of entrepreneurs. We are all entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
It's in our blood.
Yes, sir.
And so what you're doing now tells me that you just a chip off the old block. You know, you're doing it for the love, but when you do it for the love, then there comes the success.
Yes, sir.
Just do it for the right reason.
Absolutely. I never fired up a grill for money. I always did it because it's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, that's what we built it for family events. Yeah. But it spread out to some of the little everything.
Yeah, it's like, I guess people, when they smell that smoke, they come running.
It helped my business tremendously.
Yeah.
And I never sold it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, for the functions I did, it was all for entertainment and enjoyment and get-togethers.
All love.
All love.
That's right.
But see, from that free, I got business back from it. So you do it for the right reason, and blessing will come back to you.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
And that's where you go.
That's good. Well, so tell the people more about Uncle Henry Earl and Uncle Jimmy and how their role was in the barbecue. I know you said Uncle Henry Earl created the method, the sauce. What about Uncle Jimmy's role in all of this?
Well, Jim, he was the Mr. Fix-It guy.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, we owned the business.
Mm-hmm.
So Jim, he could build an air compressor. He could fix any kind of truck, because we own trucks and we, you know, did business like that. And he's the one instrumental in building the grill. Mm-hmm. He gathered all the materials and got the welder to build the grill. Yeah. Now that was his thing. And see, I'm the low man on the totem pole. It's three, but you got two brothers. Yeah. Well, I was the low man. My oldest brother, he's the one that kind of was the brain, and then my middle brother, he was Mr. Fix-It, and I was the order taker. I just did what they told me to do. But in turn, what I got back from that, they would always look out for me. Yeah. I was the baby boy. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I didn't have to do nothing. I just did the talking, and they did the action. Yeah. And so that's kind of relationship we had, you know.
And, you know, and after they passed, it's admirable how you took the flag and you ran with it. You know, and you kept it alive, and you know, kept doing it for them too. You know, and it never changed. Kerr Brothers are still on them grills.
Still on the grills. I lost them by the mid-90s. You know, both was gone. Yeah. And they had such an impact on my life. Yeah. That I had to keep it going. You know what I'm saying? And I had to change it and tweak what I was doing, but I was gonna always keep that Kerr Brothers thing.
Absolutely.
It started with my father. He started the whole thing as a self-employed truck driver, and we followed in those footsteps, and then we were offered a business just from his contacts. Mm-hmm. And so that branched off into what we did for the rest of our lives, for our livelihood. And then the grills came out of that to enhance what we was doing.
Yeah. And it's the best promotional tool.
Best promotional tool you ever want to see. And then it's passing on down to you. Yeah. Yeah. What you're doing.
Absolutely.
You got that entrepreneur's blood in you.
I do.
You can't help it.
I can't help it.
You can't help it.
I can't help it. You know. And you're right, because that promotion, you know, when I fire up my grills, you know, people, you know, don't matter the race or religion, they coming out.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, so
that bring everybody. You know, everybody love food. Everybody got to eat.
Everybody got to eat, especially when you pumping all that smoke into there.
When it's good.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Absolutely. So, do you consider the Kerr Brothers recipe to be one of the best barbecue recipes out there?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think so too.
And hey, I put my recipe up against anyone.
I believe that, and I believe to this day that you make the best barbecue I ever had.
Oh, you
to this day.
You're still in my heart.
Even
man.
so better than
you're
mine.
Still in my heart.
People always talk about my barbecue. I'm like, nah, you must have had Uncle Ross's barbecue.
Well, I thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate
that,
man. Because that makes my day when you think that way. Because I like to stay humble. When people, I would never say it, but when people say it, I receive it. Yeah. So I'm receiving that from you, and I thank you for it.
And I can tell you, I've had every barbecue joint in Memphis. I'm telling you, the Kerr family recipe, I stack it up against anybody on this side of the Mississippi River. I don't think nobody in Memphis, St. Louis, Kansas City, I don't think they match up as far as the barbecue, as far as the texture of the meat, the sauce. You know, of course, everybody does sauce different. You got people in North Carolina, they use mostly vinegar. You know, you got Alabama, they use that white sauce. They put mayonnaise in their barbecue sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got people put syrup and all kind of stuff in it. But the simple way that we do it down here in Memphis, in the Memphis area, I think, especially when it comes to pork and chicken, we do it better than anybody.
Well, it definitely worked for me, because when I raised that umbrella on those grills, here they come. Yeah. The proof is in the pudding. I ain't got to advertise. Uh-huh. They can just be riding by and stuff. I can tell you, man, by how many times that has happened. Yeah. I ain't heard nobody always end up with no meat.
Yeah. I ain't never heard anybody say anything bad about your barbecue.
Well, hallelujah.
Now, I done said some bad stuff about some barbecue, especially out there where I am in Bartlett. I said some bad stuff about some people's barbecue.
Oh, my goodness.
Man, when you can, you know, I've never had anything dry. Like, even the shoulder, like, it's an art to cook pork shoulder. You know, because the meat is so thick. So the way that y'all cooked it back in the day and all this stuff, I mean, people can't do that. You know, even today, if you get a pulled pork sandwich somewhere, 9 times out of 10, it's dry. It's dry these days. So I guess it's just the different methods of the cooking.
Well, I have to say I'm kind of addicted to my own.
Yes, sir.
So it works for that's what works for me, you know. But that's the way it goes.
So now you know the name of the company is Delta Legends.
Delta Legends.
So I can absolutely say you are 100% a Delta Legend.
Well, thank you, sir.
You are a Delta legend. You are a barbecue legend.
Thank you, sir.
And I am happy to tell the world your story and the story of the Kerr brothers, because they need to know. They need to know the history, the work that you all put in barbecue, and the love that was put into barbecue.
And that's what we did it for. We didn't do it for show. We did it for family. Mm-hmm. It was just a family-orientated thing that we wanted to have get-togethers, a big family. We wanted to have fun with each other, eat good, and then we had to go home and go to bed and go to sleep. Yeah. That was our philosophy.
So I got to say, now you know I talked to my mom about this, and I told her I was going to be recording. She told me that y'all weren't the first barbecuers of the family. That Big Mother, your mom, used to barbecue.
All her recipes was in her head.
Yeah.
And that's the best cook, hands down, that I ever.
So I never experienced her barbecue. I experienced her, you know, chocolate cakes, the Thanksgiving food, all of that stuff. But how was that barbecue?
It was great. It was great. She, like I said, she's the best cook in my world. Yeah. And then your mom is right there with her, because she used to watch in the kitchen and watch it. Your mom made an apple cobbler one day. I almost bit my finger. It was so good.
That's amazing.
So she learned from my mom, but my mom was absolutely the best cook I ever known. And I know I'm a little biased when I'm saying that.
Yeah, and
I heard I'm a little biased when I'm saying that, but that's my opinion. You asked it, and that's what I'm doing.
I believe you, because I heard she used to make her own barbecue sauce.
She made her own barbecue. She made everything from scratch.
Wow.
Everything from scratch. She didn't buy no mixes and stuff. She made it from scratch.
So, with that being said, do you really think that she taught Uncle Henry Earl and...
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
She was an influence on all of us.
So this barbecue recipe comes from her?
Absolutely.
Okay, wow.
He got his origins, because that's when we would get together and eat. We would all, especially on Thanksgiving and Christmas, we would all be down there eating her good cooking. And we always, and even your father would want her recipe for tomato gravy. She used to make tomato gravy.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good. Ooh.
Oh, you ain't gonna believe this. My mama made tomato gravy last Sunday.
Man, come on, man.
I might have to tell the tea something.
Yeah, but she made that tomato gravy. Your dad loved that, man.
Wow, man.
He wanted the recipe to that.
That's great stuff.
So, like I said, that was the basis of our eating when we go down there for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
With that home cooking. Everything made from scratch.
So let me ask you, what kind of grill does she cook on?
She had a little grill out there in the front, a little barrel grill.
Little barrel grill?
Little barrel grill.
Oh, man.
But it was in the preparing of the meat and the sauce.
Yeah. And that's one thing you told me. Like, when it comes to barbecue, the most time you're going to put on is going to be in the preparation.
That's right.
The meal preparation.
Preparing of the meat is what really make it or break it.
Yeah. Because I remember when you taught me how to barbecue, I came over here and I was thinking, oh, yeah, we finna be outside. You took me to the kitchen. You said, well, let's start from the beginning. And we started in the kitchen, and you taught me how to make the basting sauce. And it was hours before we even went to the grill.
Yeah, you had to prepare the meat, you know.
Yeah.
And you prepare it, and then you leave it overnight. Mm-hmm. And then you start the cooking process.
There you go.
You had the bacon sauce, and then you would make the red sauce to add to the bacon sauce to make the actual barbecue sauce.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, it was a process.
Yeah, it is. So, what advice would you give to anybody? Let's say a young person is here in Memphis or wherever they are in the world, and they want to get into barbecuing. What would you tell them how to start?
Well, you know, you got to have a point of reference. So, first thing is to do your due diligence and studying the different types of barbecue and learn and somehow get some advice from your elders, from people that you know. Whenever I want to know something, I always seek out someone more successful than me. Yeah. And I get their opinions, and I listen. Mm-hmm. You listen. You talk 1/3 time, and this is what I do, and listen 2/3 of the time. And then trial and error.
That's it.
Get to yourself. Try this. Try that. Try the other. Fail, and then success is on its way.
That's right.
And when you forget that ooh la la taste, you got it.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. You told me that back in the day. You said, you gonna mess up.
You gonna
mess up, but that's all right. But keep going. Because I can tell you, the first brisket I ever made tasted like a boot.
Hey, I've been there.
We all been there. We all been there.
Done that.
But that's just a trial and error.
Trial and error.
And so, well, I definitely appreciate you taking time to speak with us and tell your story. This has been awesome, and I am so glad that I was able to come talk to you and tell and show the people who taught me.
Well, I'm kind of proud of you.
Yeah.
Because you took an interest in it, but not only did you take an interest in it, you pursued it, and you're pursuing it, in my opinion, with excellence.
Yes, sir.
And with guidance from people that know more than you, and then you gonna grow to the point where you can do the same for others.
Yes, sir.
So you put here to learn and then leave something behind. So I see you trying to do that. I see you being a success at it, and you got my 100 total support. And I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you, Uncle. I really appreciate you.
Nothing but the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to our first episode with our very own Delta legend, my Uncle Ross Kerr. Y'all stay tuned because we're going to have more videos coming in soon, and you're going to see some cooking videos. You're going to see some recipes that you ain't never seen before. Y'all just hold on, and I'm going to take y'all for the ride. I'm Chris Atkins representing Delta Legends, and I'll see you next time.